Yeah, my name's Jake Taylor. I am the vocalist and manager of In Heart's Wake, a self-managed band. And our new album, Incarnation, which is out July 12th, is our latest record. And it's a culmination of, a career of since we were teenagers, putting it all together. I think it's our sixth record. And this is essentially our first record as a four-piece. And it actually serves as a sequel to Divination, which came out 12 years prior. It tells the other half of the coin.
Very good, Jake. We have got a lot to get through, brother, but thanks for joining us today.
Good to be here.
So, what the album Incarnation is out on July the 12th, which is actually this Friday, mate. So she's not too far away now. Like, how you feeling about it? Like at this stage, are you nervous? Are you anxious? Are you excited? Are you whatever what shall be, shall be?
Yeah, none of those things. It's more just like the hurry up, let's go. Like, get everyone caught up to speed is really where it's at. There's no anxious and nervousness because I know how it plays out. I know how it sounds and how it feels. I can't control what everyone else thinks, but I just want to get it out there so we're all on the same page.
Yes, right. So tell us a bit more about it from a musical point of view and what you're actually going for with it.
Yeah. So with the flip side of the coin, we've been known for sort of diving into being melodic, having clean vocals and flipping to heavy, whereas this is just doubling down on heavy. And it's doubling down on heavy as a necessity and a need and a desire. It's where the world is at, to be fair, like we feel the world is at. There's heavy shit that needs to be spoken about. And also it serves as a function that we have an exit of a member who served as the clean vocalist. And so we really wanted to paint in, being then forced into the heavy corner, what are all the shades of heaviness that we can explore to the nth degree and really deliver something that we're excited about and it doesn't sound monotonous track by track.
Yeah. It actually sounds like there's a lot of thought would have actually gone into it to deliver that, bro. Like, was it something you sort of sat down and planned in stages, or did you more let it come naturally, I guess?
Coming naturally initially, and then you start looking at, okay, what are all our ingredients that we're cooking with, and perhaps what would make this a better cake? Like what are we missing? I think, and that's when the back quarter or that last quarter, you really have to then hone in to help color it in. So it's a bit of a balance of both things.
You mind laying off the food analogies a bit, bro? I haven't had breakfast yet, and you're making me hungry.
You eat cake for breakfast?
I do when I got children. That's my excuse.
Love it. Where everyone can relate to food. That's probably why I go to the food analogies, and I really love food as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got Italian roots, so I can't help it.
Yeah, true, mate. We can't argue with that one. So to date, you've released three singles, Orphan, Farewell, and Hollow Bone. So just say that's all someone's heard of In Heart's Wake, pretty much. Like, are they a good representation of what to expect from the whole album?
No.
In a word, no.
No. First of all, Farewell's not on the record. Farewell is a
Okay, sorry.
No, don't apologize. Farewell's just like getting out of the way of letting letting our fans know where Kyle is headed and why he's not going to be on this record, and really painting a picture as we descend into heaviness, madness, darkness, whatever you want it to be. And so you'll see in the film clip where we're headed. Now we've given Hollow Bone as sort of the stake in the ground as a four piece, delivering like what we feel is a really fast, energetic, and solid song. And it's got a hook where we deliver it as a band singing it. And then counter to that, man, there's like the madness and the craziness and how twisted and dark and unexpected I think that what we can do, and that's Orphan. So they're kind of, I wouldn't say that they're both polar opposites. One's probably in the middle and the other one's just real deep down. And then we're going to paint in all between and around that. So yeah, it's a hint of what's to come, but it doesn't summarize the whole album.
Right. That would have made actually a bit difficult choosing the singles because, like, you want to showcase your newer direction, I guess, in a way, but you also want to pick the best songs on the album. So, how did you find that balance?
I think it all comes down to storytelling and narrative. Whilst you got to put sonically strong songs forward, what story are you telling around that? Why? Like, it's not just, hey, here's the best song from the album, go check it out. It felt like, no, this is us as a four piece, like doing the melodic chorus as a four piece when normally one guy would. And that to us was our reclamation of the band. And it felt really, really important to show that we can do melody as four, as well as being a solid song that we all liked and was catchy. That was really important to get off on that foot. to not throw people too much of a curveball to begin with, and just have people go, well, what do I make of this? And then following that up, you can really deep dive into the weirdness.
Yeah, cool. Now, you touched on this a bit before, mate, but you've been quoted as saying that Incarnation is the shadow counterpart to the band's debut Divination. So,
Yeah.
what do you actually mean by that?
What I mean by that is like, look at any coin, you say heads or tails, and you flip it. Not that one's good and one's bad by any means, but they're definitely different. They're definitely different modalities, but they're of the same beast. Same with the yin and yang symbol we're all familiar with. They're one and the same, but they're very much different. So look, divination is the innocence and sort of, big wide eyes at the world and just writing songs and getting it out there to a degree. And like it was very strong, but it had this youthful innocence, I think, it didn't have the maturity that I feel that Incarnation has. And so being the shadow counterpart and going as heavy as possible, we're telling all of the stories that are all quite inversed and flipped and very, I don't want to say negative, but like there's a lot of hard stuff we're talking about rather than the joys of traveling the world, which we spoke on in divination. So that's what I mean by the shadow counterpart.
So it's more of a musical or like a sonic thing rather than the album being connected lyrically or automatically.
It's connected thematically because if we have time for that, look, there's 22 major Arcana tarot cards. So for those that don't know, Lovers, the Devil, the Fool, the Magician, these are archetypal cards and characters, if you will, that are found in Lord of the Rings to Dune to Star Wars, whether it's Yoda, Gandalf, whether it's Frodo or Luke Skywalker, anyway, or Vader being the bad guy, the Emperor or whatever. So these are all found in the archetypes.
Yeah.
And when you flip a tarot card, if you're having a tarot reading, there's the light and the shadow of the story of those, of those characters. For instance, you can step to to put it lightly, you can step into the dark side of something and have it be in excess of something. You're too much, in this, or you can be in the flip side of that, saying you're in need of it. You're needing that. You're calling that in. Divination was all the need. They're calling it in, and they're very much stepping into the light of everything in the stories and the lyrics. And then on Incarnation, it's all the flip side. It's fear. It's the pain. It's the trauma. It's very much in the dark side, the inverse. Not to say that it's bad. It's just needing to address it and look at it. And that's where we're looking at all the shadows.
Right. And if anyone wants to find out more about that or go a bit more in depth, you've actually created a website, haven't you, where people can interact and find out that sort of stuff?
Yeah. The website is essentially telling more of the story of each card relating to each song. So there's 11 cards on the album Incarnation, and you can flip and turn over each of the cards and they reveal clues, puzzles, or bits or pieces behind the album which speak to that song.
All right, so is that just through your regular website or have you set up something
you can
specific?
access it through our regular website if you click on the tarot tab of inheartswake.com. Otherwise, you can access it via incarnation.inheartswake.com directly.
Well, now, you mentioned the word inverted a few times, which is quite relevant when you look at the track listing of the album, because you've got the song title, then you've got in brackets, you've got something upside down or inverted. Yeah. So tell us the story behind that, man. It's quite interesting.
Yeah. So in the same way that I was speaking about the I don't like to use the positive or negative, the light or the shadow of each card, when the card is flipped, it speaks to the shadow when it's upside down.
Okay.
So if you get a card that's upside down, it's delivering you the shadow meaning, but potentially to look at. So when it came to putting the tarot cards in brackets next to each song title, on divination, they're all upright, they're all regular for people to read. The Lovers, the Fool. On this, they're all upside down, which was a neat discovery that we found. We could still do, like Spotify and Google and all the just regular text to type, because there's no buttons on your keyboard where you can.
It doesn't go upside down for you.
Yeah, but that was a way to do it, where it still is read and it can be done. So then it was this really great way of translating and interpreting the code behind each song.
Right. So are those shadow meanings from the actual tarot readings, or are they something that you've made up to go with the song titles?
No. Each cards each card, like we had a tarot reader, which is my mum's a tarot reader.
Right.
So we had her just double checking what, we need to, I've done some study on this. So I was really making sure that each card was speaking to the story of what's being
So
told.
cool.
Yeah. And, had my, let's just say the tarot reader. So it's not just my mum, but, we had a tarot reader go over that to really make sure that it was speaking to each card's inverse meaning. Yeah.
So cool. Now you mentioned that you've done this as a four-page piece with Kyle leaving the band, mate. So the whole actual album was done without Kyle, was it?
Correct.
Yeah. And how was that experience? Like, he's been there for a while. Like, it would have sort of felt like one of your feet was missing.
Yeah. No, no, definitely did. It was more, yeah. It wasn't so much a foot was missing. It was like yeah, different energy in the room that maybe like balances things out like slightly. You don't sort of know why or what's going on.
Mm.
And what it meant for us was rather than just being like, oh, we're a man down, it was how to we actually have to step up as four and find that missing ingredient. And so there was a lot of communication around that. Like, dude, we'd have like weekly check-ins and stuff to see how everyone's going, like how's this feeling, where you're at. And I feel like that process really helped us actually come closer than together than ever before as a band
Yeah.
because we had to. There was a need and a necessity to.
Yeah. And he always did cleans as well, bro. So like, are you going to actually look at replacing that from outside, or are you just going to go in the heavy direction and drop the cleans pretty much altogether?
We've only decided that for this album,
All right.
meaning we don't know what the future has for writing music.
Yeah.
If we start writing songs and if it's coming from a place of this, I can't unhear this without someone, then it won't be a replacement because like we'd never look for a like singer like Kyle.
Yeah.
It would have to be something unique and offering something different that fans haven't heard that could deliver a clean voice. So we're open to it is the answer, but it's not fixed by any means. Like let's say this just goes down really well. Everyone loves the heavy. We're loving it, and we just want to write more heavy shit, and then we'll just keep following that.
Cool. How were the dynamics for you though, bro? Like, you're used to having that clean to sort of bounce off, I guess, and like give you a bit of a respite. But how was the whole process of recording for you without that there?
But it was very challenging because I couldn't fall into like crutches and laziness. Like, not that I get lazy, but you get the palate refresh when you go to a clean. So then you can get away with, not get away with, but you can go back to your strong voice that you delivered before the chorus. Because, and by strong voice, I mean like you just your baseline middle range thing. But if you're screaming and doing stuff all the way through, you've got to find something new then to refresh it before coming back to that.
Yeah.
And so it just meant we had to work harder to be smarter. That was sort of how we approached that, and yeah, it was challenging because there was no time to hang up the towel. Like it was like, okay, we finished performing that part, and we've got to perform the next part, and we've got to think about it, and we've got to work on it, and we've got to try new voices, and so it was just relentless.
Hey, really cool. Now we're gonna have to wind this up, bro, because you got a few interviews today, but we have to make mention of a tour you've announced as well for Incarnation, which kicks off on September 5 in Newcastle. You go through Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide, and finish in Perth on September 14. And you got some pretty special guests with you too, I hear.
Yeah, yes, we do. King 810. I'm just going for that first because David, the singer of King, he's on the record. He screams on a song called Mishigama. It's I'm not going to pick favorite guests on the record, but he definitely delivers something very creative and maniacal, which is really sick as of a spot. We've got Paleface Swiss, who are the main support, who we were listening to a lot whilst making this record, and they're just super heavy and blowing up in Europe and America. And then Australia's Gravemind, who are very technically heavy and proficient band at what they do. And we just felt like we needed to bring a band who was well seasoned and well oiled and who deserved a tour like this.
Okay, that's a great lineup, bro. Like King 810 in themselves would be great, but that's like three great supports. You've done well.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and look, it's a reflection of the heaviness and the darkness of this record. They speak to the ways, the sort of the tunnels in which we're going.
Yeah, fantastic. And what's next for In Heart's Wake after that, bro? Like, I reckon you're going to be about as busy as I am, if not more.
Yeah, well, hopefully not with 6 and a 9-year-old as well to boot just yet. But yeah, we're going to be busy. Look, it's a see what comes, because it feels like we're relaunching a whole new band to a degree. And so we need to see, the right tours will present themselves to ideally go back to the rest of the world. We are going to America this year after that Incarnation Australian tour. But in terms of getting to Europe and returning to America and what's next in Australia, it's gonna play out when the record comes out.
Well, if that's the case, mate, you should be traveling the world for the next 10 years because she's a fucking good record, bro. You've done well.
Thanks, dude. Look, we'll see. I don't. It's a quality, not quantity, at this point for the band as well. Like it's got to really make sense and be right. The tours we do.
Sweet. Well, lucky for everyone, Incarnation is out this Friday, July 12th, so they can have a listen themselves. And I bet you no one calls me and tells me I'm a liar.
Not if you give him your number.
I'll give him. What's your number again, bro?